But when we talk about employees, my point is they can make you or break you unless you got them in your corner. And how do you get them in your corner? First of all, you have to treat them with respect. You don't talk down to them. You don't talk nasty to them. You don't treat them like they're peons. Nobody crowned you queen. Okay? You just have a job that you're doing. And it may be a business, maybe your business, but still, you are in charge of people working for you. So you're still not the queen of the day or anything like that. You're not on a pedestal. These are your employees. If it's not for them, you will not be, if they don't do what they need to do by you, you cannot be successful. Motivate them. Make them want to be number one. Make them want to be the best. Talk to them about it. Keep them motivated. Give them recognition when they're doing things great. Sit down and talk to them in a counseling way when they need some improvement, when they need to do something better. You don't have to be friends with everybody who works for you, but you certainly have to treat them with respect, okay? And treat them like human beings. I have seen so many examples where people who think that they are in the leadership role wants to talk down, because that's the only thing they know about leadership. People who are in charge of me dog me out, so I gotta go dog the people out who work for me. That does not work, because that makes your job hard, because they are fighting you every step of the way behind your back. Make sure that the work that they're doing is real important to your organization. Don't give them some little menial task to do and have your other people that you like doing more important things. If this person's not performing well, teach them, spend time with them, and put them in a job, understand what their skill sets are, and put them in a job where those skill sets work for you and for them. I had a situation at IBM where this woman just could not cut it. I mean, it was pathetic. And my boss said to me, I want her fired. And I sat down with her and I started listening to her and watching her, and I said, this girl has talent. We have her in the wrong job. And we've invested all this money in her. I need to put her in the right job. So I told my boss, I said, I'm not going to fire her. I'm going to put her in the right job. Of course, he put his finger in my face. I will fire you. And I said, okay, well, you do whatever you have to do. But we invest a lot of money in this woman, and I think I can save her. So I took her out of the job she was in, put her in a job that was more comparable to her skill set. She blossomed. I think when I did that, she probably weighed, I'm making this up, but at that time, she probably weighed 200 pounds. She was very homely, wore these ugly little homely clothes to work. And when I put her in that new job, she lost probably about 60, 70 pounds. Got her hair done, put some makeup on, bought some new clothes. And next thing I knew, the senior sales rep in the office started dating her and they got married. I mean, she blossomed. Once she was in a job that she loved doing and she was successful at it, she turned into a totally different person. We were getting ready to fire her. Get to know your people individually. My first 3 months at the Department of Education, I sat there one by one. I met 15, 20 minutes with every single person one-on-one. The first poor soul that came in was petrified. Knees knocking. Oh, what is she gonna talk to me about? And once I talked to 2 or 3, they went back and told the rest, she just wants to talk. She just wants to know who we are. And then they start wanting to come in. And I got to know every single one of them. That way I didn't have to take somebody else's word for what they thought of them. I wanted to know what I thought of them myself, okay? Recognize their accomplishments, celebrate their successes. Speak to them in the hallways. There's a certain executive, and I won't mention which department, but he's a dear friend of mine. He's CIO. And he doesn't speak to people. And his staff would tell me, he never speaks to us. And I used to say to him, I still do, why can't you speak to your people? And here's his excuse, I'm an introvert, I just don't speak to people. No, these are your people. You have to speak to your people. You have to show interest in your people. They hate you because you don't speak to them. And they really would not do it. They wouldn't lift a finger but he couldn't understand that. And now he's gone to another agency as a CIO, and he's running into the exact same problem. Keep up with all your personnel matters, raises, appraisals, promotions, bonuses, development plans. If their morale is high, your office morale will be high. It's the personnel issues that will get you killed. I remember when I was at IBM, if you wanted to be a manager of people, and you had two paths. You could either go the technical path or you could go the management path. If you went the technical path, you got evaluated and paid based upon the technical work you were doing. If you went up the management path, then you could never have an evaluation higher than your personnel evaluation. So you could make 100% revenue, 200% of profit, you could have all these brand new programs going on, you could be the bomb with all the other stuff that you're doing, but if you messed up with your people and your evaluation there was in grade school terminology a C, but everything else you did was an A+, the highest evaluation you could get was a C. So the point of that was your primary responsibility as a manager of people is the people. And if all that other, and your people should be doing all that other stuff well because you're developing them well. But if you did all that other stuff well and you couldn't take care of your people, you couldn't get a good evaluation. And lastly, don't take sides with employees. These are not your friends. I've seen managers who, they have a friend, they got two employees. I like this one, this is my friend. This one over here, I don't like her. Now those two get into it, and you are over here with the one you like. Yeah, I don't know what her problem is, but and the poor little one over here that you don't like knows that, they feel that, and that just causes all kinds of chaos. I'm dealing with the situation now, which is an organization that I belong to, and happen to be best of friends with the national president. And she's called me into this situation to advise her on how to deal with this. And it turns out that there's favoritism being shown. There's some people in there causing trouble, but they are the ones who are in favor. And there's another one who's being spat on, if you will. She's the one that they don't like. And I've had to go in and say, we got to cut all this favoritism stuff out. Let's look at facts. Let's look at the facts over here, the facts over here, and so on and so forth, and get this mess straightened out. Don't side with the employees. Figure out who's right, who's wrong, and then deal with that. I had a situation one time where these two in my office were fussing and fighting all the time, and they were grade 15s. And I was like, so one of them came in and said, I don't like she's doing such and such. And the other one came in, I don't like it, she's doing. So I told my secretary, get a meeting, don't let either one of them know that the other one's coming in. And I want both of them in my office, because I'm gonna nip this in the bud. So they both showed up and they were like, oh my God, the other one's here. And when they came in, I said, so could you all please tell me what is going on? And they sat there and they looked at each other. And I said, both of you are coming in here talking bad about each other. Now I need to know what's going on. And they sat there a few more minutes and they said, Gloria, we can work it out. We'll work it out. I said, that's right, don't bring any of that nonsense back in here. I wasn't on side with one versus the other. So they went and worked it out. So in summary, you need to be diplomatic in all your dealings. I have a sign in my office that says the definition of diplomacy, the ability to tell people to go to hell in such a way that they look forward to the trip. So you got to be able to deal with people in a very diplomatic way. Even when you're dealing with issues that they have, you make them feel like you're really trying to help them and that it's going to turn out for the best in them. Don't burn bridges. That's the second point. There was a young man who, and I tell Greg, my assistant, my vice president, he's vice president of my company, senior vice president of my company. Sometimes I say assistant because he tells me what to do all the time. But anyway, I tell him all the time, I said, you cannot burn any bridges. You don't ever know when you gotta come back across that bridge. There was a young man who I was introduced to. I didn't know anything about him. Another friend said, I want you to meet him. Well, I told my secretary, I said, schedule a meeting, and my secretary had some issues going on, and she totally forgot to reschedule me. So there was these people coming in to meet from California, and Greg and I were sitting in my plaza in the hotel lobby meeting with these other people, and then we were going to take them to lunch. They had come in from California. Well, this young man who I'd never met was standing there watching and staring, and Greg even mentioned it. He said, there's this guy over here, keep looking over here. So I don't know who he is. So I kept talking, and then we were getting ready to break to go to lunch, and a young man walks up to me, and he says, excuse me, Miss Parker, sorry to interrupt. I just want to let you know I'm here for our lunch. I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me she forgot to. And I felt so bad, and I jumped up from the meeting and I ran over to where he was sitting, where he went back to sit, and I said, I am really, really, really sorry. I will make this up to you. I got to meet with these people. They flew in from California. You were supposed to get a phone call, blah, 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 blah. And then when we got in the restaurant, he came in and ate by himself. So I asked the maitre d' to bring me his check so I could take care of his check, to just show I wasn't trying to dog him out, right? And then I said to him, he came over to the table to hand me a brochure. And I took the brochure, and I was very gracious, and I felt so bad. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he could do. He was much younger than me. I was like, a lot of people would have just said, forget him. He doesn't even look like, let me out. Not me. I told him, I said, I will come to you.